Hello, world. Okay, so happy Monday. It is day 2, I believe, of being at our new place. We have officially arrived in our new home. As you can see, we're not entirely installed yet, and that's actually, it's perfect for a lot of reasons. It's perfect because I like to give a big FU to perfectionism, and I am a huge fan of just keeping it real and showing you what's what and showing up as things are and as I am. So there's that. But it's also kind of perfect that my office, which, I have a new office. I'm so excited. I haven't had like a dedicated office in a very long time. Hashtag digital nomad, hashtag. Yeah, all the hashtags around that. But what's very exciting is that this is the first time I have an actual dedicated office space. And anyway, it's perfect that it is not at all like we're completely unpacked, but I haven't set up the office yet. We haven't hung things on the wall. This shelf behind me is leaning to the right because it's missing a couple of screws, kind of like me and kind of like all of us in our lovable own ways. But we need to finish putting the shelf together so it can stand upright. And then I will put books on it, and I will put so excited to put like probably a whiteboard on this wall. I'm probably going to put a vision board on that wall. I'm probably going to get a plant. It's going to be amazing. I'm so excited. Anyway, what I wanted to share with you today is what I'm working on myself right now, but I also think it's a helpful guideline for any of us who are entrepreneurs, but also for any of us who are just humans. So what I was writing in the caption was, if you are somebody who maybe easily gets overwhelmed or distracted, this might help you. Or if you're not easily overwhelmed or distracted, but you're simply like, you're here and you want to go here. You want to up level and you want to up level faster. You want to grow and expand and like do more cool shit in your life, then this will help you too. So the point of this is to really prioritize only your top 3 priorities for the next 3 months. And I'm conveniently saying that right now because we're at the beginning of October. So we have 3 full months left, almost 3 full months left to the end of 2020. If you're watching this at a much later date, it doesn't matter where you are in the year, like use this concept for wherever you are in your timeline, right? But it's a great time as we're thinking about, okay, 2020, which has been a train wreck and a shit show in so many ways. It would be really easy to just kind of like give up on the year, right? Or it would be really easy to be so distracted by everything that's happening out there in the world, or so distracted by whatever's happening in your own world that we're spreading ourselves too thin, so maybe you end up like not really getting much done or not moving forward or not growing and up leveling the way you want to because there's just too much going on. I'm a huge proponent of having a rich life with lots of things going on, and I'm a huge proponent of consistent and continual self-improvement. So I'm not saying only focus on these things and let all of this like fall apart. I'm saying focus only on 3 main priorities and laser focus on those first. And then the other little stuff will work itself out too, because when you're focusing on the things that are actually the most important, then you probably are more likely to have more energy to handle whatever this other stuff is back here. You probably feel more satisfied and productive and fulfilled and content. So again, you'll have more energy to work on whatever else comes up and along. And when you get those top priorities into place and moving forward, like I'm just going to keep saying everything else keeps falling into place. So I'm just going to use myself as an example. Like, for those of you who know me, I want to work on all the things all the time, right? And it would be super easy for me to, especially as an entrepreneur, right? Shiny object syndrome. I'm like, I want to do a million things over here on social media, and I want to go to all these conferences, and I want to get 20 new certifications, and I want to do all this stuff, but I can't do it all at the same time. I'm a huge believer that we can absolutely have it all. I think as humans, we can basically be, do, and have anything. I just don't believe that we can do it all at the same time. So if I want to do, be, do, and have lots of things and move forward, but I don't want to get in my own way by trying to do it all at once or by being too distracted by things that are not supporting the main priorities, then I'm just going to be all over the place. So I think it's really helpful to designate 3 main priorities and then laser focus on them and really stick to them. And the question is, okay, well, how do you choose? Like, my family's important, my work's important, my health is important, all this stuff over here is important. But to you right now in your life, wherever you are when you're watching this, like if you really had to choose, what are the 3 main areas that if you could do nothing else, you could only focus on those 3 areas, what would they be? The invitation would be to actually sit down and write this out, jot it down on a piece of paper or journal it out if you want to go a little bit more in depth. What are those 3 main areas and why? Like, why is each of these a priority? If you have to choose, why is this area the most important to you? And then also look for, how is focusing on this one area going to help in other areas of my life? So for me, for example, I'm going to choose 3 priorities for the rest of the fall. Number 1, so these are all things that I want to up level, right? I always want to up level everything, but the things that I'm focusing on taking to the next level for me is body, business, and lifestyle. And I'm going to say more about each one of those things. You could call these different things. For body, I could call it health and wellness, right? For business, I could call it all sorts of things about the business. And lifestyle, I'll get more specific. But the reason I'm choosing that is just because it's easy to say. Body, business, and lifestyle. Maybe I'll say business, body, and lifestyle. I think that sounds better. Rolls off the tongue more. It's fun to choose like little phrases and things that are easy for you to say and remember, because I think you'll be more excited about them than if you write down like some long thing. But so for me, the reason I want to focus on business is my top priority, because as I grow my business, not only is it aligned with my mission, so it's what gives me the most energy when I am living on purpose, when I'm doing what lights me up, when I'm following my passion, all the things that are so important to me for this career path that I'm doing. When I'm putting my energy into that, everything expands. Like, I am in alignment. I feel authentic. I feel alive. Obviously, growing my business is the only way that I can, or not the only, definitely not the only way, but one of the main ways that I'm more likely to create more abundance for myself and my family. So if I want to be financially thriving, it's going to be mainly through my business that I do that. So focusing on my business has so many benefits. It lights me up. It creates stability and future wealth for my family, and it allows me to serve more people. It allows me to do my great work in the world, right? So business, that's kind of a no-brainer, right? Within that category, though, I'm not just going to say business is my top priority and then just sit down every day and be like, okay, what should I work on today? I'm going to have very specific goals and focuses underneath that. And I'm going to choose only a few of the main areas that I want to focus on in business. And I won't go into that here, but I know what those are, right? And then number 2 for body, or the category that I'm calling body, like it sounds silly when I say that because it sounds like it's only about changing my body, but really it's just the easiest way for me to talk about health and wellness and truly thriving. So if I'm going to focus, I'm going to laser focus on up leveling the category of body for the next 3 months. What does that look like? I can get really granular, but just to give an overview, it'll be focusing on taking fitness, nutrition, sleep, breath work, meditation, mindfulness, stress management, basically all of the different components, all the different healthy habits that for me personally are included in making me thrive. So self-care, I know what those are as an introvert and as an empath. It also includes a lot of things like making sure I have enough alone time, making sure that my environment feels supportive and safe and nourishing, right? That might be very different for you, or might be very different for somebody else. But so for me, up leveling everything about my health and wellness and thriving and having vitality that's also a no-brainer for me to focus on, because when I do that, when I physically thrive, I have so much energy that I can then apply to business or to relationships or family, friends, or whatever. But if I neglect that, it's one of the fastest ways that I get my battery drained. So priority number 1 is up leveling the business. Priority number 2 is up leveling body for me, thriving and all that. And then when I do that, I will be better. I'll be a better partner to my husband. I'll be a better friend to my friends. I'll be a better family member to my family members. I'll just be a better, more well-sourced, grounded, clear, healthy, happy person. So that's good across the board. And then number 3, specifically, this wouldn't always be one of my top priorities, up-leveling home and lifestyle, but it currently is because Chris and I are in a big transition right now. I've been talking about this a lot lately. We've been mostly nomadic the last 5 years. I've been working remotely from my laptop, well, for a long time, but very specifically working remotely as a digital nomad for most of the last 5 years. There was like a year where we were living in an apartment, but we've mostly been bouncing around. We've been in the Bay Area, we've been in Tahoe, we've worked and lived from like 15 plus other countries during that time. And this is the first time, I mean, this year with the pandemic, we did not travel at all anyway, but that was not by choice. Whereas now we're kind of settling down. And I say that in air quotes because I don't like the term settling down, because to me, that is like something that I'm not going to do, because it has all these connotations from mainstream society where I'm like, like not interested in settling down. But that's just my personal take. But this is the first time that so we're renting a house now, this new house that is not furnished yet, which I absolutely adore. It's up in Forestville. I'm very excited about it. We're renting, we haven't bought yet. That's maybe going to happen next year. But it's the first time where I'm like, we're starting this chapter that feels like a more grounded chapter, where we're going to have this home base. And, as soon as things open up, we'll totally go travel again. But instead of being nomadic and like living here and then living there and then living there, like we did last time, now it's like home base, go travel, home base, go travel. And what feels very significant about this is just, well, it just feels significant. I'll just leave it at that. It feels very symbolic of where we're at in our relationship, where we're at in our life trajectory, where I'm at in my business. And so the more that we can up-level our lifestyle now, the more that's going to also support the business, which then again supports the mission, serving more people, me living on purpose, and just all the good things that we care about. But specifically up-leveling lifestyle right now, it's like for us, that means going from living this totally minimalist, like kind of rugged, we were basically backpacking for a lot of that time. And, I just turned 40 this year, but for the last 5 years, here we are backpacking as, mid to late 30-year-olds. Like, I remember it was about a year ago, we're backpacking through Portugal, and I'm looking around and I'm like, I love that most of the people in these crammed trains and places are, 20. They're like 20-year-olds from New Zealand or Europe, all super young. And I'm looking around, I'm like, we're the only 35-year-olds, 38-year-olds who are traveling this way. And I've loved that. I've absolutely loved being this like gritty, rugged traveler who can, we don't like stay in hostels anymore, but now we stay in Airbnbs with AC and all that. But it really has been this totally free, untethered, adventurous lifestyle that we've had. But now that we're kind of like, quote unquote, settling down a little bit more, there's all this stuff where we're like, oh, we can have all our shit in one place. Like, this is for the first time in years, we'll have all of our furniture in one house. Our stuff has been spread out between so many different places. Like, we went to storage a couple of days ago and I opened boxes that I hadn't looked in for 2.5 years. And it was like Christmas, all these things that I totally forgot that I owned. But as we up-level lifestyle, it'll be a little bit more about like, how do we live in a way that feels really supportive and nourishing of where we're at right now, so that we can be our best selves, be as supportive as we can of our family and friends. And like, I need to be really aware of my environment and have it be conducive to growing the business and scaling that up and serving more people and creating more success that way. So it's really fun. Here we are. It's like, we went shopping yesterday just to get some, essentials for the house, and it feels so exciting to focus on that. Anyway, the moral of the story is, when you choose your priorities, choose the ones that are most important for you right now, based on what you actually care about and what's most important in your life, not based on what anybody else would say is important. Because when you are taking on the shoulds or the supposed to, you're going to be much more likely to go into that place of resentment. I'm just looking at some comments here. And you're going to be much less likely to show up with authenticity and real, genuine, intrinsic motivation, rather than that motivation that comes when you're just doing what you think you should do. But when you are focusing on just those 3 priorities, then those will build your momentum, build your energy, build your clarity, build your alignment. And then the rest of the stuff can be handled so much more, like, I don't want to say effortlessly, but with more flow. Whereas if you're doing other people's priorities and taking on too many things, then your main priorities fall by the wayside and everything just gets so much more complicated. So to keep things really simple, to keep things clear, to keep you in alignment, to keep you, I kind of always like to come back to the 4 A's: authenticity, alignment, abundance, and aliveness. Like being true to who you are, following the goals and dreams and desires that you actually want. So alignment, abundance. So creating more abundance for yourself, not just money wise, but in all areas. So you thriving in all areas. And then aliveness, which to me is that physical sensation of energy and exhilaration, excitement coursing through your body because you just love your life, because you're feeling good, because you're well taken care of. Thank you. Congratulations on the new house. Thank you. I received that. So that is my invitation for you today. Whenever you're watching this, what are your top 3 priorities? And feel free to share in the comments or send me a DM. What are your 3 priorities for the next 3 months? Why are those important to you? And if you want to take it a step further, go a little bit deeper on each one, do some journaling, write down, if your priority, like me, let's say, is grow your business, what does that actually mean? What are the sub priorities within that priority that you're going to laser focus on just for the next 3 months? I love goal setting. I love big dreaming. I love doing like big vision, dream life for 5-10 years from now. I love setting very concrete goals for, 6 months, a year, whatever. But really, when you're getting to the planning point where you sit down and figure out what the heck to do every day, I recommend just focusing on the next 90 days. Like just 3 months works better for most of us, just how our brains work and how we actually like show up and get shit done. So I'd love to know, what are your top 3 priorities that you will laser focus on for the next 3 months, and why is that important to you? How is that going to help you? Ideally, you're picking the ones with the most ROI. Like, where will you get the most energetic bang for your buck if you focus on this area? Like for a lot of us, that is health. That's why I almost always come back to up-leveling health and wellness, because when you feel physically good, you're going to show up differently at work, in your relationships, in all areas where you're trying to make a difference. Hope that's helpful. Have a wonderful rest of your day, and definitely feel free, whether you're watching this live or later, to leave any comments below. Send this video to anybody you think would benefit, and reach out to me if you have any questions. Have a great day. Bye.